Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. I have a new release to try out and I have an opinion and some thoughts. And we're gonna dive in. We're gonna swatch some of the shades. We're gonna discuss because I have two palettes. I don't know if we're gonna agree. I don't know if we're gonna disagree. But I'd like to know your opinion and thoughts about this release. We do dive in and get two different eye looks. I used both palettes to just kind of show the differences and we deliberate on what the release is. But you guys, before we jump into it, if you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below, hit the bell for notifications of new videos, and if you like this video, make sure to hit a big thumbs up. But if you want to see what's going on with this release from Natasha Denona, my thoughts and how I got these eye looks, just keep watching. Okay, you guys, I have the new Natasha Denona palettes in front of me, and usually we're just getting one palette. And when I saw that there was going to be a new release, I was like, ooh, I'm excited for this. And then I saw what it was and I was like, do I really need it? The answer is no. Nobody really needs this, and like maybe, unless maybe you're like a makeup artist. But then I was looking at it and I was like, okay, I could use a lot of those shades, but necessarily you don't need both of the palettes. And when I show you, you're gonna be like, you might be like, wait, what? So there's two. There's soft and there's dramatic. So two different palettes look identical from the front, but on the sides, so dark has the brown and then light has the white. Now, I could use light, but I also like a lot of dark tones. So it also depends on like what your preference is or your skin tone. The other thing with the light palette, there's not really any shimmers. There's satins, there's two that look like they could be shimmers. So these are all predominantly matte shades, and then this shade and this shade have glittery, like they look like they could be shimmers. And I have some details here. So yeah, so the white shade C1 is inner corner, brow bone, and lid. And then the outer corner, and it doesn't say what the formulation is for N1, it just says outer corner or lash line. So looking at this, I'm like, okay, so you start down here, you've got the lighter shades and it goes to the darker shades. And then there is details in the palette box. So starting here, you've got pink rose or rosy pink. Then you've got peachy warm. You've got yellow golden, neutral cool, peach warm, and then the last row is neutral cool. And that's just for this palette. And so technically lightest to darkest, and then same thing, light to dark in all of these rows. Okay. Well, then we also have the exaggerate, right? Or no, dramatic, exaggerate, same thing, right? This color story is mostly the darker tones, and you have it from light to dark, but then you have mattes on the top and the bottom, and then you have the true shimmers in the middle, right? So I like that. But then you start with the peach warm, yellow golden, rosy pink, peach warm, neutral cool, and then also neutral cool. So you've got two rows of neutral cool. So it breaks it down. Okay, cool, I got that. But also, so neutral cool, you've got the black and gray tones, and then you've got the brown tones, all right? Now, me personally, I'm like, oh, this is just a large palette broken down into two palettes. Which, okay, did we need to spend that price point on this palette? Probably not. Because I will tell you, this palette is, these two palettes together are a pretty penny. But together, like, this is the color story. This is the palette. Why didn't we just put it all together? That's my question. Like, why do we have... I know the answer. Literally, I know the answer because there's a soft and a dramatic. But I don't know. I got them. I bought them. I wanted to try them out. I'm excited to see. I don't know that I'm going to swatch all of these. I think I'm going to swatch the shimmers because, let's just be honest, this whole row of shimmers, love this. So that's the other thing. This palette only has two shimmers. If you like shimmers, do you need a whole matte palette? But then this palette doesn't really have a lot of light shades except for like, I do like this color for the inner corner area. All right, let me go ahead and swatch the shimmers. I'll start in this palette with the two that I think are supposed to be shimmers. No, they're not. Like, they're not true, like, they're more satins. That's what I thought. Okay, it's fine. So we'll put those two right here. Kind of like a suede satin. And that's in the soft palette. Those are the two that looked like they could have been shimmers, but aren't necessarily shimmers or classified as that. And even in the Exaggerate palette. So the only thing for the middle row in here is inner corner and eyelid. That's all it says. So I want to know your opinion, because I know not everyone's picking these up. Like these two palettes, not everyone wants them. Let's just be honest. I want to know your thoughts. Would you have rather, because I know me, I'd rather have just received one palette. I wish she would have just released one. But I understand, because there are plenty of people that will buy these because both palettes, they like the colors or they use a lot of neutrals. I'm definitely a neutral girly, so this being added into my collection doesn't hurt my feelings. I just know not every consumer is the same. So these are the first 4 shimmer, like inner corner lid shades. We're gonna go ahead and put those right there. They're pretty. And this one right here is the lightest. This is all very fall vibes for me though too. Okay. And then we have 2 more shades to swatch. The last one, C1, or no, C2, intrigues me. Okay. So this one is C2 and it's got like purple and gold glitter. And then this one's kind of like a more of a satin than like a true shimmer. We'll place those right here. I do like all that glitter in there. And I wasn't thinking I was going to use those. I was like, maybe I'll do kind of like the latte eye or something smoky brown. I didn't think I was going to go smoky black. All right, let me go ahead, prime my eyes, look at the shades and see what I want to come up with. But I have a feeling I'm going to need to play around with these a lot because there's so many shades and I can't use them all in just 1 week. But I have a lot of opportunities for work. That's for sure. Okay, you guys, I was looking at both of the palettes and as much as like the light tones, I don't really want to play around with them. This I think I'm going to save for work tomorrow. But looking at the dramatic tones, I'm really being drawn to this like rosy brown. I kind of want to pop that into my crease because here's my thing. I could play with both of the palettes, but realistically, you as a consumer aren't buying any of them or you're buying one of them. You're not buying both of them. I was drawn to buy both of them because, like I said, neutrals are my thing. And then on top of it, I have my makeup YouTube channel. So I wanted to try both. All right, popping into R3. This one is going to be picked up on my fluffy crease brush. We're going to put it straight into the crease. And I'm going to start out where it's kind of muted, but we can also build it up later. But I really want to hear your guys' thoughts on this release. And I love her palettes. I love her formulation. I love the quality of her shadows. But this one kind of, like, I was surprised at first and I was like, ooh, that could be interesting. And then I looked at it and I was like, are there any shimmers? And I'm a shimmer gal. I am drawn to some of the beautiful multi-trio duochromes that are out there. I might not love the matte shades, but I will buy a palette for some beautiful shimmers. And then I bought 2 palettes that have 6 shimmers between the 2 of them. All right, I'll stop my whining because that's what I feel like I sound like right now. I'm whining. But I want to know your thoughts. Let's have that conversation. All right, so it's a good start for now. I'm just wondering, do I want to make it deep dark brown and then add black in, or do I want to, actually I might just deepen this right now and add in the dark brown. All right, so deepen that shade up, which I had it subdued down pretty good. This is some pretty good depth on that. Okay, and then going into N3. I think this one I'm gonna pick up on my fluffy crease brush and put it into the center here, but then we will deepen it up with my compacted smudge brush. I do like that. It kind of has like a light Merlot on the outside and then that chocolatey brown on the inside. Kind of like a cherry chocolate. I think this is beautiful for fall with that pinky shade, that pinky brown. All right, I'm gonna switch to my compacted smudge brush. I'm gonna dip back into R3 because I have some skipping right here from my creasing eyelids. All right, got that blended. Now I'm gonna pop into Y2. This one I'm just going to pick up on my ring finger and place in the center. It's pretty like champagne gold. And then my little silicone spatula for precise application in the inner corner. I've actually looked to see if I can find these anywhere else because I originally bought them at Sephora and I have not been able to find them. But I also know if either of them break, I'm going to be devastated because they make it so easy to place in the inner corner. Has anyone else looked for them? Because I know I talk about them a lot. Okay, that's literally the simplest. Part of me is like, maybe I should do, because I did this the other day when I did, it was my Nomad palette. It was the PNW, Pacific Northwest. I did 2 eye looks with 1 palette. And now I'm wondering, should I do a look with this palette on this eye? Let's do it. Let's see what we can come up with the light palette. And some of these look like they're the cream to powder formulation. All right, we're gonna go into P3, which is the peachy row. It's always a satisfying feeling taking the plastic off. That shade, as much as it deposited into my crease, is probably the same shade as my foundation. It's fine. It's fine. All right, now we're gonna go into C3. And this is the cool tone portion, but I'm gonna pick this up on my fluffy crease brush, place it right here in the center. So it's kind of like the lighter version of this. It's fine. We're gonna play. I'm here for the makeup and we will try it out. But even with the fluffy crease brush, it deposited a lot of color. We'll switch to the compacted smudge brush, see how we can build it. It's pretty. I don't hate it. This one's just got more red, and then this has the peachiness on the outside. Now, I'm gonna stick to just 1 palette when it comes to each of the eyes, because if you only buy the light because you like the neutral shades, then you only have these 2 colors. So we're gonna go into C1. Pick this up on my ring finger. I don't hate it. I wish there was more sparkle to it, but that's just me. All right, let me go ahead, do my base products. I'll come back so we can finish off the eyes. Okay, you guys, we need to finish off the eye looks. I was looking at this and I was like, okay, they look very similar. What I was doing on this side with the dramatic and just kind of doing a little bit subdued, I feel like I could do the same thing that I'm doing with the light side. I'm just thinking out loud. I've said it in the past, the brushes you use can make a difference. I use a fluffy crease brush every single day for work because I need my makeup to be a little bit more subdued like this. And a compacted smudge brush will deposit more to make it more dramatic like this. So if you're contemplating whether or not you need both palettes, probably don't. If you have the right brush, you probably only need dramatic, or could buy dramatic, and come up with the same things that you could come up with in soft. I'm just options if you don't want to buy both and you're wanting to buy one of them, because at least dramatic has the shimmers in it, which absolutely. All right, so we'll start out on dramatic side and finish this off. Now the downside to this is the lightest shade. Like there's not really a white. I'm just saying. I really want to know your guys' thoughts. All right, diving back into R3. This one on my little tiny compacted smudge brush. And if you've been here before, are you surprised? That's how we're kicking it off. All right, so we'll pick this up. We'll place it until about right here and then we'll blend out. I'm just gonna pat it on and then start blending it forward. I am going to switch to my fluffy crease brush and pick that shade up and just right here on the outer edge. Just to make it cohesive. Okay. Now back into N3. This one is just going to stay in the outer corner for the most part. Just going to pack it right here, blend a little, and then switch to my large compacted smudge brush right here on the edge. I really like how that looks right now. This is probably going to be one of my go-tos for fall. I really like this. Beautiful chocolate cherry shade. Really like. All right, now back into the soft palette for this eye. So diving back into P3 on my little tiny compacted smudge brush, and I'm just trying to clean off all the product that I can. This one will pack on. This one I might have to pack a little bit further just to... All right, and then into my fluffy crease brush. This on the outer edge. And now back into C3. We're going to use our small compacted smudge brush just for the outer corner. And then large compacted smudge brush. So the lighter version of the chocolate cherry. That's literally what I feel like it looks like right now. Let me go do brows liner mascara and I will be back for the final look. Actually, dial that back real quick. We need to do inner corner. I used my Dior Backstage. This is the one that's been out for a while. I know they just released, what is it, 4 new shades? And I was looking at them like, do I need those? The answer is no. I don't need them. Do I want them? Yes. But I've literally mixed these 3 shades to come up with my cheek. I love the Dior Backstage. I don't need a reason to buy the new ones. So I literally just, and then that doesn't have a mirror. And then switching over. I know sometimes I forget to do my inner corner and brow bone on camera if I don't use a shade in the palette. And I've been trying to remember. Okay, there we are, cohesive. Now I'm gonna go do brows, liner, mascara, and lips, and I'll be back. Okay, you guys, I'm back and this is the final look. We have the dark, dramatic side, and then we have this soft, peachy side. I feel like, and this is probably not gonna be everyone's like favorite opinion, I don't feel like you need both of these palettes. You may not need either of these palettes, honestly. If you have, like, I have a bunch of the other neutral palettes that she's released, and I absolutely love them. Like, I need a nude or I need a warm. There's so many neutral palettes that she's released in her collection. And if you have them, you may not necessarily need either of these. This, I feel like, is for someone who is doing makeup on clients or just, I don't know. I don't know that I even needed them. I'm glad that I did pick them up because I do love neutral shades. I do love Natasha Denona formula. I'm always reaching for the neutral palettes that I have for a daily use. So this being added to my collection is not a bad thing, but for like the normal consumer, you don't need both of them. Now, if you are a matte person and you don't love shimmers, you might just want the soft palette because there's no shimmers in here. This shade right here, which is this, it's just kind of like a satin. It's pretty. I like the effect that it gave on my eyes. But if you love shimmer and sparkle like I do, you're gonna want the dramatic. But that's my personal opinion. And I also feel like, so this, I would have been able to get something similar just using a fluffy crease brush and not using a compacted smudge brush. But that's just learning what you can do with your brushes. You can take the dramatic and dark and colorful palettes and diffuse the shades out with a brush. I don't know. I love Natasha Denona. Do not get me wrong. I'm not saying don't buy any of her stuff. These just, I don't think these make sense if they're not your wheelhouse, if they're not something that you need. Do you need a full matte palette in light tones? Maybe. It just depends. I want to know your thoughts. Put it in the comments. Let's definitely have a conversation about it, because when she said she was releasing something new, and I was like, ooh, I'm excited. Like, we've got the 𝐬𝐃𝐄𝐒 palette, we've got the I Need a Nude, My Dream. Like, I love the color stories. I did not declutter any of my Natasha Denona palettes when I did my declutter, but I just gotta be honest with you guys. If you are not like a makeup artist or you love shimmers, you might be disappointed. I want to know. I want to know your thoughts. I know I'm going to get some use out of this because on a daily basis I'm using neutral shades, and I'm probably going to have to gravitate more towards the soft just for my everyday work, and then I can zhuzh it up after work if I'm going out and meeting up with friends. But put it in the comments. Let's discuss. Definitely let me know if you're picking them up, if you're passing, if you feel the same way that I do. But you guys, that is it for this video. Thank you so much for watching. If you're new here, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. Hit the bell for notifications of new videos. And if you like this video, make sure to hit a big thumbs up. Until my next video, you guys, bye. I'll see you in the next one.